Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about Jon Snow's fate in the final season of Game of Thrones. This video includes Season 8 footage, leaks and leaked photos that are spoiling Jon's path through his final episodes. That's why the title includes confirmed spoilers, so you've been warned. Besides leaks, in this video you'll also hear a few theories and predictions about Jon Snow in Season 8. Okay, let's just jump into it. In the first episode of the final season we'll see Jon Snow arriving home at Winterfell. As the long night comes bearing down on Westeros, Jon Snow and Dany are heading north to prepare for the Great War. With their crew's arrival at Winterfell, pretty much all the main characters will be at the same place at the same time, and it only makes sense for some of them to finally reunite and share a couple of words. Once Jon arrives at Winterfell, he'll have a heartbreaking reunion with his family, with Sansa, Arya and Bran, as well as with his friend Sam and his direwolf Ghost. Firstly, Jon's Sansa reunion has been confirmed to take place in the Season 8 premiere, with this Season 8 first look teaser in which we got to see a clip of Jon reuniting with sister and Lady of Winterfell Sansa. Some of the fans claim that the hug shared doesn't feel all that warm, and we should worry about Sansa's intentions. Some are even going that far to claim that this clip pretty much hints Sansa's possible betrayal over Jon Snow. This, in my opinion, is not the case. Sansa already had an opportunity to overthrow Jon in Season 7 when the Northern Lords were complaining that the King in the North should have stayed in the North, with Lord Glower and Lord Royce even going that far to propose Sansa to take power in the absence of her brother Jon. If she wanted to, Sansa would have already betrayed Jon. Instead, she insisted that Jon is their true ruler, who is doing what he believes is right for their people, and that she is merely his regent. So Sansa betraying Jon theory, in my opinion, is not plausible at all. The reason why Sansa may be glaring over Jon's shoulder turned out to be Dany, just as we hear on Fire and Blood expected, and there will be some tension between Sansa and Jon's new lover. Having in mind that Sansa back in the second episode of the 7th season said that Dany doesn't want to help the North but rather wants to conquer it, it's fair to assume that Sansa will not accept Dany as well as Jon did, or at least not at first. As Dany said herself in the Season 7 finale, she's not heading north to conquer it, but rather to save it, and that's something the Northern Lords will see for themselves in the very beginning of the final season. Sansa will see for herself who Dany truly is, and what her true intentions are, and will eventually truly accept her and they will get along. Sansa might also state to both Jon and Dany that risking their lives and losing one of 3 dragons in order to prove to Queen Cersei that the army of the dead is real was both stupid and pointless move, as besides losing one dragon, Cersei will never help her own enemies in the war, no matter it's against the Night King. This is something Sansa knows because out of all of them she's the one who spent the most time with Cersei, and she's the only one who fully understands that Cersei would never provide a living side with troops that she is likely to lose in the Great War, and therefore weaken her position on the Iron Throne as the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. Sansa will also warn Dany that Cersei will take advantage of the war between the living and the dead, with Cersei confirmed herself in the Season 7 finale. That's the side of Sansa I'm looking for and hoping to see in the final season. Anyways, it's not only Jon and Sansa who will finally reunite at Winterfell, it's also Jon and Arya, the most anticipated Game of Thrones reunion. We've been waiting to see the reunion between those two since the very first season. We had been hoping for Jon-Arya reunion in Season 7, but the two just missed each other. However, they'll finally reunite in the first episode. Jon loves and cares for all his siblings, but Jon and Arya have a unique bond, which the show made sure to remind us of just before the actual reunion takes place, with Sansa mentioning to Arya how happy Jon will be when he sees her. Arya will be out of Winterfell at the moment of Jon and Dany's arrival. She will be at Wintertown among the small folk, but they will still reunite in the Season 8 premiere, and this is that exact moment in the Godswood of Winterfell. This reunion will definitely be heartbreaking. Jon and Arya were very close growing up. It was Jon who secretly had needle forged for Arya, encouraging her to become who she always wanted to be, a warrior. It's only fitting for them to see each other again before the Great War begins. I cannot wait to see these two fighting together against the Night King's army, Jon with Valyrian steel sword and Arya with Valyrian steel dagger. Jon will then reunite with Bran as well. It's been a long time since Jon seen Bran, but Bran did see Jon in Season 4 when he was traveling north of the Wall. He saw Jon from afar fighting the mutineers to avenge the Lord Commander. Bran is, besides Sam and Howland Reed, the only person who knows Jon's true lineage and who witnessed Jon's birth. Even though he has been waiting the whole season to reveal to Jon the truth, I don't think he will reveal it to Jon in their first meeting. The reason being too many people around them. Bran and Sam will likely wait for a private moment with Jon rather than revealing such an important, life-changing information to him in front of everyone. When I think of it, Bran might not even be the one to reveal the truth to him. An actor who plays Sam teased this about his character in Season 8. Sam is really feeling the responsibility of this information, but he knows Jon would rather hear this from Sam than anybody else. Is this a confirmation that Sam will be the one to reveal Jon the truth, or did he say that just to throw us away? You decide. Sam and Bran discovered together the truth, but Sam would probably be a better messenger given Bran's detachment from his family, and weird behavior ever since he became the Three-Eyed Raven. An actor who plays Bran teased this about his character. We see a slightly wiser Bran this year, who's less like robot overload. That's great to hear. Still, the two will probably agree that it's better if Sam delivers this breaking news to Jon, and this clip seems to be that exact moment. Anyways, Jon, upon arriving in Winterfell, beside reuniting with his family, Jon will also reunite with his friend Sam, who also knows the truth behind his true lineage. Jon and Sam will see each other for the very first time since Jon was killed and resurrected. Sam might even be the one to reveal to Jon his true parentage, while Howland could confirm these Sam's statements to Jon with some evidence. If Jon tells Sam about what happened to him in the Night's Watch, death and resurrection, it's possible that beside revealing to Jon that he's a Targaryen, Sam might also proclaim Jon Azor Ahai. In the Season 7 premiere, Shaw pointed out that the book Gilly picked up and began reading was a book about the Long Night, while the exact part she was reading was about the prophecy of Azor Ahai. I already made a video regarding which character might be this prophesied savior, but Jon, son of Ice and Fire, seems more and more to be the Lord's chosen. Anyways, upon finding out about Jon's true parentage in Season 7, which basically confirms that he is the Son of Ice and Fire, and upon finding out about Jon's death and resurrection in the final season, it's quite possible that Sam will proclaim Jon Azor Ahai, a hero that was reborn amid smoke and salt, a hero that will wield the flaming sword to stand against the others, and if he falls, the world falls with him. It's going to be very interesting to see Jon's reaction. Like his father Rhaegar, I think Jon will eventually accept his part in the prophecy and in the Great War. That's all I'm going to say about it for now. I also believe that the book about the Long Night that Gilly was reading in Season 7 premiere will resurface in the final season, which will likely lead Sam to once again ask Bran if he's able to look back in time, but this time even deeper in the past, to see what exactly happened the last time the White Walkers came for the living. This is how Sam and Bran will play a huge role in the final season, as they will help Jon and Dany strategize for their fight against the Night King and his army of the dead. This will probably involve quite a few flashbacks where we will learn a bit more about White Walkers and their true motivations. Now that Jon has reunited with his family and friends, he has one more important reunion to face, the one with his direwolf. It's been confirmed that Ghost will finally return in Season 8. All of us enjoy the dragons, but the direwolves have also been a huge part of Game of Thrones, especially of the Stark children. We have not seen Ghost ever since Jon's resurrection. For all of you wondering where Ghost even is, he's at Winterfell. The showrunners confirmed that Ghost stayed at Winterfell with Sansa and Jon left to meet Dany at Dragonstone. During Season 7, instead of Ghost, the showrunners decided to fulfill their long-awaited wish of having an undead bear. For the final season, however, the Game of Thrones production has much higher budget and Ghost will finally be back at it. Jon will reunite with Ghost early on in the season, and I'm sure we'll see more of him in the following episodes, especially in the Battle for Winterfell that is taking place in Episode 3. If you look closely on the official trailer, you could even notice Ghost in the background. In case you missed it, pay attention to the left of the Jorah moment when the camera pans on his hardened, battle-ready face, and you'll notice something that's out of focus, something white and direwolf shaped moving around in the background. It's definitely Ghost in my opinion, and there's somewhere Jon Snow as well. However, while there will be a few moments of heartbreaking reunions between Jon and his family and friends, there will be no time for much small talk because Winterfell is already preparing for the war. Winterfell now has a dug trench all around it and everyone wields dragonless weapons and shields. Even though Jon is unaware of the fact that the Night King and his army are marching south of the wall, Bran already informed everyone in Winterfell, as he himself through his flock of ravens witnessed the moment when the Night King destroyed a large portion of the wall, allowing his army to march south. Upon being informed about this huge news, the next scene we will see in Winterfell is easy to assume to be Jon having an urgent meeting with majority of the Northern Lords and his allies at the Great Hall in order to discuss their strategy and defenses. Jon will somewhere in the mid-season learn of his true lineage, whether through Sam or Bran or maybe even through Howland Reed. Once Jon learns he's a Targaryen, which basically means he and Dany are related as Rhaegar is his father and Dany is Rhaegar's sister, the other news will hit him: Dany's carrying his child. It has been highlighted numerous times during this season that Dany believes she can no longer have children because of a prophecy that was told to her by Mirri Maz Duur in the Season 1 finale. The prophecy tells when the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, when the seas go dry and the mountains blow in the winds like leaves, when your womb quickens again and you bear a living child, then he will return and not before. Even though Dany does believe in this prophecy, as Jon pointed out himself, it may not be entirely true. Additionally, so many people were talking about Dany's ability to have children in so many scenes that it seems like Jon and Dany having a baby is not even questionable, but was rather foreshadowed. Tyrion talked to Dany about her plan for succession. Dany talked with Jon her dragons are the only children she'll ever have, and even Jorah talked to Jon about Jon's future child. Just as Jon stated, it's highly possible that the witch was not being honest with Dany, which along with all those foreshadows might mean that the season finale brings more surprises than we hoped for. If Dany truly is pregnant, that's definitely something Jon will find out earlier in the season. The only problem with Dany getting pregnant is another theory that's been floating around for quite some time. If Dany truly got pregnant, could she die in childbirth? We know that her own mother died giving birth to her. Jon's mother also died giving birth to him, which puts Dany in a dangerous situation. How I see Jon learning this is through Dany, of course, and probably in the crypts of Winterfell. Will Jon then reveal to Dany his true parentage or not is also something that interests me. I think this might take place as early as episode 2 of the final season. It was revealed that episode 2 will see the return of the crypts of Winterfell, which was being filmed on its long-standing location at Shane's castle. It was also reported there will be a scene between two leading cast members in the crypts, and they will be discussing Ned Stark's death in this particular scene. So it's basically something similar to what we already saw in season 7 when Sansa and Arya discussed Ned's death, as well as his statue. My guess is that this time it will be Jon and Dany discussing it, and it might be before or after Dany reveals to Jon that she is pregnant with his child. Since it's episode 2, one episode before the Night King arrives at Winterfell, it's highly possible that this is the episode in which Howland appears with his troops and supports the North and the Living, and also tells Jon the truth. What we also know about this episode 2 scene is that it ends with a horn being blown. As you know, in the Night's Watch, a horn is blown to warn of someone approaching, either Rangers returning, wildly inside the gates, or White Walkers. In my opinion, it's definitely White Walkers, and this scene will be the end of episode 2. If you have been following Game of Thrones Season 8 news and leaked photos, you know that there is a big battle set to take place in Season 8, and it's been confirmed to take place in the 3rd episode of the final season, by the actor who plays the Night King Vladimir Furdik. Even though Winterfell will not be the first castle to be destroyed on his path, he will arrive over there by the 3rd episode, which is when this epic battle for Winterfell begins. Furdik let the news slip during a fan convention in Hungary. He said and spoiled in the 3rd episode of the last season, there's a battle that the creators intended to be a historic moment in television. Almost the full episode will be about the battle. It will take about 1 hour. We don't have many Jon Snow leaks from episode 3, but I guess we don't really need them. The Night King is attacking Winterfell, Jon defends Winterfell. All I hope is that Jon fights alongside Ghost and Arya, and Ghost doesn't actually end up sacrificing himself for Jon. Someone picked this up from the new teaser, and here it looks like Jon wears a Targaryen pin, similar to Dany's during the battle for Winterfell. I'm not sure. What we do know, however, is that winter will not fall at Winterfell. This battle will be a huge defeat for the Living. Winterfell is on fire, the Night King has won. But don't worry, Jon Snow and most main characters will survive. As you might expect, this battle will leave many dead. Check out this image of corpses strewn across the ground outside the Winterfell set at Moneyglass, which is just one of a bunch. So Jon survives the most dangerous place to be in episode 3, the place attacked by 100,000 strong army of the dead led by the Night King, and then in episode 4 goes to the second most dangerous place for him, place ruled by Cersei Lannister. Jon Snow will return to King's Landing in episode 4. For the first time in the history of the series, Starkid Harrington was filmed shooting something in Dubrovnik, meaning that Jon is headed back to King's Landing at some point in season 8, and since the director of episode 4 was seen on set, we can say for a fact that this will take place in episode 4. In this photo, Harrington is at Dubrovnik's Meseta Tower, which is part of the city walls. Cersei and Jon Snow meet one-on-one in King's Landing. Well, not exactly one-on-one, as Cersei has her Queensguard and the mountain around her. Is Jon coming to plead with Cersei and once again ask her to provide them with troops, or is Jon trying to convince Cersei to let them all in, to make their final stand in King's Landing? There are many possibilities. However, before Jon goes to King's Landing, he will go to Dragonstone with Dany. A new teaser also provided this shot of Dany standing in front of a fireplace with her back turned to Jon. Looking into details, I figured out this must be from episode 4, because they're not in Winterfell here, they are at Dragonstone. Now we know that the Living will retreat to Dragonstone after Winterfell falls. Take a look at the fireplace, props, the stone curves and the metalwork. It's the same thing we already saw at Dragonstone, so now we know they'll retreat to Dragonstone after Winterfell falls. Looks like Jon and Dany will have a tense conversation after losing the battle for Winterfell, and since they are at Dragonstone, this clip is likely from episode 4, and it's a post-fight moment, but also seemingly a post-Jon's true parentage reveal moment as well. Finally, new teasers also answered a question to the biggest Jon Snow question going into season 8, will Jon ride a dragon? Yes, and here's the reaction of Varys, Davos and Tyrion seeing it. These three have already seen dragons above their heads quite a lot of times, so the only reason they would look at a dragon with a bit of shock would be seeing Jon Snow riding Dany's other dragon Rhaegal, a dragon named after Jon's father Rhaegar Targaryen. In the trailer we see Jon and Dany approaching Drogon and Rhaegal, and here they are probably flying them above Winterfell. So we pretty much know everything regarding Jon's fate in the first 4 episodes of the final season. In episode 1 he will reunite with his family, then in episode 2 he'll find out his true parentage from Sam, and he'll most likely also learn of Dany's pregnancy. In episode 2 Jon will probably ride a dragon. In episode 3 he will fight for Winterfell, but after it falls he'll retreat with others to Dragonstone in episode 4. But he will not stay there for long, as leaked photos confirm that he will also be at King's Landing in that same episode. There you have it guys, everything we know about Jon Snow's fate in Season 8, and I have to admit it's a lot. True, we do not know Jon's endgame yet, but we pretty much know everything else. I hope you like it, and please let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section down below. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to subscribe to our channel, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.